Wagwan YouTube family, my name is Eric. This is the Eric Evolving channel. If you're not yet subscribed, go ahead and subscribe right now. Man, it's a great Sunday evening here in Tampa, Florida. It was a rainy day today, but it was a good day overall. But I have now been in Tampa now for 15 months, and I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about how long it takes to get used to being here in Florida. How long before you adjust to being in Florida?
Wagwan, wagwan.
So how long does it take to adjust? How long does it take to get accustomed to being here? Those types of questions, right? So I remember when I was moving down here, I was watching this guy, Florida Dad, and I was watching a lot of his videos. Really good guy. I haven't seen much of his videos anymore, but I remember seeing one of his videos, and he said it took him personally, I think, about 3 years to get used to being in Florida. And on average, he would say it takes about 2 years to get accustomed to being in Florida. And when I heard those news, that wasn't something that was exciting to hear, to say the least. Because I was like, man, it takes that long to get accustomed to it, whatever. But I will say, you getting accustomed to being in Florida depends on a number of reasons, right? So it depends on where you're moving from. I was moving from New York, with changes of weather. I wanted a change of the weather, but I still, there was still some stuff that I had to go through being here in Florida and kind of getting accustomed to it, right? It also depends on where you grew up. I grew up in Jamaica, so I'm used to the heat. I'm used to the hot weather. I kind of prefer the hotter weather. So I felt like adjusting for me would have been a little bit easier. But if you're not used to that, it'll probably take you a little bit longer. It also depends on where you're moving from. You know what I mean? What was your kind of your lifestyle where you're moving from, and the kind of lifestyle that you would be having here in Florida. So while I was in New York, I got used to my little hangout spots, just was in my comfort zone in New York. I adjusted to New York and loved New York, but I didn't like the weather so much, right? That was one of the driving forces for me wanting to leave, was just dealing with the weather and everything else, and just the expenses of being in New York. So coming down here, I knew it was going to be a slower pace. And for some people, that can work. For others, it can't work. I'm not going to lie to you. If this was 15 years ago, I don't think I would be able to move to Tampa or move to Florida, because the lifestyle, the pace would have been too slow for me, right? Now I'm an older gentleman, so now the pace is pretty good for me, right? So that's something that it depends on, right? So if you're coming from somewhere where it's really fast, you have access to a lot of stuff, coming down here, you're gonna slow down a little bit, On the flip side, if you're coming from a small town and you're moving here to Tampa, you may think this is like a big city, right? Where it's just like a lot of stuff going on. And a lot of people, a lot of traffic, whatnot. For me, I don't think so. I think it's a little bit slower. So, and I'll kind of go over my story a little bit. So, I decided I wanted to move to Tampa probably January of 2019. I decided on Tampa, started doing my research just to kind of short my decision. Decided I would move in July of 2019, right? If anyone knows about New York, in the summertime in New York, that's when it's popping. That's when like all the excitement is going on, because in New York, because the weather changes so much. In the wintertime, everyone is on lockdown, everyone is in their sweaters, you don't see anyone, right? When the summertime comes, everybody comes out, right? Everybody and their mother comes out. Like, you see like the nicest cars, you see the nicest females in your neighborhood that you've never seen before, never even noticed before you start seeing. You're like, damn, so it's just like everything, like everyone, it starts coming out, all the parties, all the different events. On any given night, you probably could go to 2, 3, 4 different parties, and you basically party till the sun comes up, pretty much. So yeah, moving here in the summertime was probably not the best choice, because I was moving away from all the fun, all the excitement, everything that was coming up because of the long winter. So came down here and I was like, man, like, this is gonna be interesting, right? This is gonna be really good. So I moved down here in the summer, and of course, whenever you move, it's like it almost like you want to kind of reenact what was going on where you're from. You kind of want some of those conveniences wherever you're moving from, right? So coming from New York, I was like, all right, I want my Jamaican food. I want to go to my Jamaican parties. I want to, I want to hang out. I want to do my thing. So, going out, I found Prana, which is a club in Ybor City, on the 5th floor, the top level outdoor spot. They have the Jamaican party, or Caribbean party, and I was like, all right, this is cool. Got a little vibe to it. So that would be my little spot that I would go to. Then I found Jerk Hut. Jerk Hut was doing their thing. They had a place downtown. They would have live music and stuff like that. I would go there, hang out, boom. So I was kind of getting into the vibe, partying and stuff like that. It wasn't a New York vibe, but it was good enough. You know what I mean? It was good enough where I could enjoy it and be satisfied. But long story short, it took me a little while to feel like, all right, this is where I'm gonna stay for a little bit, right? Like, I still didn't adjust to it yet, but I think within the first 3 months, I would say I was struggling just a little bit, but I told myself I would fight through it, because your mindset moving here too is a big deal, right? You have to have the right mindset that, listen, you're gonna make this work, and you're gonna try your hardest to make it work. And that was part of my mindset, that, you know what, I'm spending all this money, because it ain't cheap moving, I'll tell you that. Relocating ain't cheap. So I was like, I'm spending all this money, and I don't like partying with my money. That's that's one thing that is definitely like true about me. I do not like parting ways with my money. I like having my money. So so I was like, listen, if I'm gonna spend all this money, move to Florida, it's gonna work. I signed a 1-year lease. I'm like, I am in it for a year, because with my lease, it was like, I think it was like $3,000 to break the lease. And as I said, I'm not one to part ways with my money that easy. So so I was like, it's gotta work. I'm gonna stay here at least for a year. So my mindset was, make it work. So first 3 months, I was partying, I was going out, I was hanging out, I was trying to make the best of it, you know what I mean? And as I said, even though it wasn't the same as being in New York, and I would see people in New York partying and doing their thing and seeing all these places that I would go to and all my friends and everything like that, I had to kind of like keep my blinders on, like, yo, I made the decision, Florida is where it's at, this is where I'm staying. Even though I had my blinders on and I was doing all of that stuff, I think right at about the 3-month mark, I started getting really like homesick, like, damn, like, yo, I really wish I was back in New York. I'm missing this, I'm missing that. I couldn't find a barbershop. I couldn't do all these little things. I was like, man, you know what I mean? I would see all my friends at like barbecues and stuff, and I'm like, I don't know about this stuff, man. I don't know, but like again, the mindset was like, it's got to work. You made the move, you made the decision, stick with it. You were motivated to move here for a couple of reasons. Either you hated where you were, or you just really wanted something new, right? So, but our minds play this trick on us that, even though we were so motivated to move and we got so excited about it, when it came down to the point of moving, you got nervous and all the anxiety around everything. But you did it and you moved. So now that you've moved, kind of put that old you or that old place wherever you're moving from kind of on the back burner and focus more on the now and focus on making wherever you are work. And I can't say it'll work for everyone, but I think it's working for me. I think at about the 9-month mark, about within the 6 to 9 month mark, after I got over kind of being homesick and all that stuff, I was like, you know what? I kind of like this. Like, I could really do this. Like, the pace is a little bit slower. It's different, but when I compare and contrast, I'm like, you know what? There's nothing for me to really go back to in New York. There's really nothing that's so big. There's nothing that I need that's back in New York that I would go back to. There's nothing that is the little things that I was saying that I was missing. I knew if I went back, I would start complaining about other things quickly. So that's my point of view on it. It took me about 6 to 9 months. It could take you a month, it could take you a year, it could take you a couple of years. But it all depends on your mindset and given this place, given wherever you move to a chance, because you definitely will have your challenges, because as I said, depending on where you're moving from, this is going to be different, right? It's going to be different. Dealing with the heat is going to be different. Dealing with just everything, dealing with the people, dealing with a new environment is just going to be different. So it's just about your mindset and getting ready to deal with it. So that's my little Sunday evening talk for you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace.